happening, good people? What's going on with you? How you doing? How you doing? Hoping that everybody is having a good day. It is hot outside. I mean, it is hot, hot. But it's gonna get hot up in here too, because we got stuff to talk about. Ooh, baby, we got to talk about some good stuff. We got some issues happening in the city. I am putting together a conversation because I don't want them to think that I forgot, but I am putting together research, investigative abilities to really find out what's happening with our police department. Is it that our police officers are that bad? Or are the majority of them getting a bad rap? You'll be the judge of that. I'm not finished in everything that I need to put together. I'm probably going to have some people to speak up on it. Probably have some folks that understand it a little bit better than I do. Make sure that I have some folks that understand civil service. But also, do you understand the people that make the decisions? Humbra? Yeah. And the decisions that they make even from civil service. All of that comes to play. All that comes to play. We'll get into it. Today ain't the day, though. Because I've gotten some pretty reliable information that I was like, y'all can't be that crazy. Y'all can't be that dumb. I ain't call it anything else that except crazy and dumb. And then you always got to make sure that you understand who's delivering the information. That's a big part of this. Who's delivering the information? And you'd be surprised when you find out who's delivering the information. Oh, baby, does it get interesting. And it does. It does. It gets interesting. Who's delivering the information? And who are the reporters? Notice what I said, the reporters that get the information delivered. Who's not doing their due diligence to make sure that the person you're getting the information from is doing their homework? You just can't take everybody's ability to say, this has happened, and then just put it on the news because you want to be first to do it. You got to be able to say, okay, this happened. Let me check on it. Let me make sure that it did. Give them the information. What does that mean? What does that mean? So I had to do this this conversation that I'm going to do because that one's coming. That one is coming. So the one that I'm going to do today is a conversation that I think that all of us need to be aware of, whether we want to be aware of it or not, because it could be coming to a street near you, and evidently they just don't give a damn. So this weekend, which there are people that are videoing this, because we got the video, it's all over Facebook. Y'all need me to put it on my page? If you need me to put it on my page, I will. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna go ahead on and share it. But there is a video. I'm getting ready to put it up on my personal page because I can't just put it up on anybody else's page or the station's page because it is, it's got some expletives that I don't want anybody to say, oh, you put that on your own page or you put that on the radio station's page. No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm going to put it on my page because that's what I can control. But to make a long story short, I'm very surprised that no one in this city is having a conversation about the Nazis that were on Frenchman Street this past weekend. Hello, somebody? That were cursing out people, that were hollering out as loud as they could, white power, walking down the street trying to be destructive, cussing everybody out, and from what I understand, got thrown out of a couple of establishments. Is anybody else aware of this? Because no one in my conversation pieces is saying, well, this is where that came from. Here's what we're going to do about it. You all need to be aware of it. Where are the Nazis coming from? And I know that some of us are going to say, well, we got them here, G. What's wrong with you? But they're walking down Frenchman Street after they get thrown out of an establishment, taking off their shirts, walking around, hollering and screaming, white power. Are you aware? Is there a big conversation piece that is happening somewhere that I don't know about, that they felt comfortable enough to do that? Because it's apparent that they felt comfortable enough to be screaming and hollering at folks, ready to have a fight, and they were fighting, by the way, and get up and walk out and say, white power, screaming and hollering in New Orleans. And nobody said nothing? Did it make the news? I think it did make Channel 6. But am I the only person that felt like, you know, where are we at? Who were the guys hollering and screaming? Are they local? Are they from another place? Who were the guys that felt like they should be on the streets of New Orleans screaming and hollering, white power? And some other expletives that I can't say. Who were they? Come on, somebody know who they are. Somebody know who they are. What you say, KC?
Hey, G. Hey, listen, I really didn't want to go in here, really, but I just wanted to mention that the actual your competitors down the Dow, WWL, actually was talking about that earlier today about the Nazis going down Frenchman Street. You know, okay. So it actually, I guess, it actually is being discussed. You know.
Oh well, they can discuss it. We need to discuss it.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. No,
Yeah.
I just wanted to, just kind of follow up on, your conversation. I don't live in the city, so I don't know who they are. But they were trying to have a conversation about racism. I think that's how it kind of started. Obviously, that doesn't go too far, but he actually did kind of bring that up about, what was going on French Street this past weekend.
Mm. Well, I can't. I think that we got to have the conversation too because it sounded dangerous to us more so than anybody. If they felt comfortable enough to walk down any street of New Orleans when you're looking at a city that is 66% African American, and you feel like
Mm.
you are enough of a person to go down that street hollering white power, you sound like to me that you could put some people, including yourself, in a dangerous predicament.
Actually, what he was trying to do, I guess the host, was trying to frame that around I guess this so-called uptick in racism. But we all listen. We all know that that is actually not a new conversation with us. So
He trying to
that's
frame
right.
it around racism. Well,
An
honestly,
uptick.
it is racism. You can't flame it around it. It is.
Well, we know that in our community, right? But again, that's a different community that you know you know that basically kind of listens to that particular station. So
Well,
yeah, yeah,
maybe they liked it. Maybe they didn't. So I don't know.
possibly. I just wanted to mention that.
Appreciate it, Casey. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So does it bother you? Let me frame it this way then, so that everybody understand where I'm going with this. Wasn't there a fight that also went to it? There was a fight that happened prior to them walking down the street, hollering and screaming "White Power." We know that because they had copies of or video that they had shot and put it up on social media that the guy was getting his butt kicked. And then all of a sudden you hear him screaming and hollering, "White power! White power!" What are you doing? Inciting folks? Is that what it is? You trying to incite folks? Hmm. I just think that we have gotten so much bigger and better than that a lot of us weren't paying attention to it because we didn't want to pay attention to it. What'd you say, Mr. Elmore?
Hey, brother, how you doing, man?
Good.
Come on, man. Every time I just cut on the radio a little while ago and I heard what you said, with society, uh, genuinely with white folks emboldened to say things, do things that not necessarily they would have said a few years ago. But a lot has to do with the world we live in today and the atmosphere socially, political wise, and everything else with Trump. People are emboldened to say certain things they may not necessarily say and do, and we have to do everything we can. And thank God you are the one that gave us some information on it to stop some of this foolishness. Because the more we entertain it and make it look like it's okay, the more emboldened folks will be. But again, I appreciate that you giving us information because our props wouldn't hear it nowhere else but you.
Hmm. Well, it made me feel I felt disgusted when I saw it because whoever shot it, they shot it on their cell phone, and first thing you saw was the fight that happened. Then the next thing you see is this tattooed up white guy with his shirt off, screaming and hollering "White Power" down the street as he's going. So I'm trying to think: has there been a conversation about how that makes people of color, no matter whether they are black, whether they Mexican, whether they somewhere else, people of color, along with our European Caucasians. How does that make you feel to know that somebody, as racist as they could be, is still walking down the street, hollering and screaming, white power? I mean, does that make white people feel uncomfortable? What you think?
Well, the thing, Jerome, I mean, I, I hate to, and I don't think I will. Sometime I'll listen to something of what's going on, in what you're saying. I try not to use to put all white folks in the same basket. But the fact of the matter, I mean, let's be real about it. If you don't see nothing, you don't see nothing about it. I'm gonna feel that everybody like you is like that. And when you white folk, behind the scenes, I'm being very honest with you. You take what's going on right now. Now you have a lot of white folks kind of rebelling right now, whatever that means, and they're against Musk, and they look at everything that Trump is doing. When he told you, he said it today. I told you what I was gonna do. So don't make like you didn't know what I was doing. So the fact of the matter is, you that naive, that's stupid. I hear white folks will listen to me. Don't blame Jerome, blame me. White folks are that stupid. Now you have to understand, when a man is telling you he's going to screw you, he's telling you, Hispanics, I'm going to support some of your people. Could be your mama, your daddy, your godmother, your godson, your niece or nephew. He's telling you he's going to do that. And you go still for that man? How stupid can you be, brother? So, the bottom line is, it's sad, what's going on today. I'm gonna tell you like I told you one time before. I'm gonna stand on the tallest tree in the jungle. I'm gonna throw a fishing line with neck bones, nothing on meat, and have them fighting over it, because that's what they're doing. And sooner or later they're gonna wake up and say enough is enough.
When? I mean, they've been hollering this for 200 years. So, I'm like, when is enough
No,
enough?
I said white folks. No, with white folks now, you're the one that put him in there. White folks, Hispanics, some Afro-Americans, a lot of Asians voted for him. When you think enough is good enough, American people? Come on now. It's not even laughable, but I'm laughing because, listen, Gerard, don't laugh the way I say this, because you laugh what I said. I can eat beans, you know me. I'm a Vietnam vet. I'm a survivor.
Mm.
I know how to survive, brother. So, look, I don't care what he do right now. I mean, I hate to say it that way, because you'll hurt a lot of innocent people that don't deserve to be hurt. But let's make the chips forward. We are black folks, very proud black folks. We have a very proud history of our people all over, from Carolina to Louisiana to Texas, you name it. We can survive, brother. This show pass. I know it's going to be somewhat difficult, very challenging, brother. But one thing that we have, brother, I always remember what Elmo Bechet said. We have a lot of faith. God has always will bless us to be stronger than the average Joe. And I think we keep that kind of mentality that we're going to help each brother and sister that need that kind of help the way me and you think, we're going to be all right, brother.
So that part doesn't bother you. Say ignore it and move on.
No. I didn't say it. No. I said that there's a lot going on. No, I didn't say what you said.
No. I'm trying to determine what you mean by it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. I'm sorry. What I said that you didn't understand?
No, go ahead. I was trying to see, is that your analogy though? What is your analogy of what needs to what happened? Was, I think
we need to rebel. We need to talk about it and make sure that narrative will continue, because the more that happens like that, the more other things will happen. That's why they say history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
Older folks have told me that for a reason. History does repeat itself. So we have to close this chapter. Let's make sure this continuation of this foolishness don't go nowhere else, because it will continue. It might get deeper than what it is, Gerard. So that's what I'm saying, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, sir. Thank you to Mr. Elmo. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
All right. More coming up. Kevin, Piper, everybody hold tight. We got to take a break. More coming up next.
Hello, friend. Tavis Smiley here with a special announcement. You can catch my show at a new time. Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Same great topics, same great guests, same great conversations, just a little earlier in the day. It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
From Gentilly to New Orleans East, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. All the phone lines lit up here. 504-582-9422 is my number. What you say, Kevin?
Hey, look, I just want to say, man, I have so many solutions on this radio. The problem is we don't apply those solutions. Look, there's such a thing as cause and effect. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, this is the classic definition of insanity when you're expecting something different to happen. If we continue, look, there's strategies and tactics that's in play in war, okay, since the dawn of mankind. And look, they've dumbed down America. And I say they, I'm talking about the ones who got better sense now, the ones who control everything. Because if you want to really see who's successful, look at who's successful, okay? And we measure it economically. I mean, it's not 100% economic that means you're successful, but you can't argue with facts. These people have the lifeblood necessary to be able to bend society and social engineer society to what they want, to what they can manipulate to continue the process. Until we start thinking, accept the fact that, look, sociopaths, it hurts. Like I heard someone say one time, you throw a rock and the dog that screams the loudest is the one that get hit. Until we start accepting we have a responsibility to think beyond the base level of intellectual and moral thinking, we are going to always be suffering this. Look, they dumb down people, white people and black people, for a reason. Those people who we're talking about are the very base level of people we ought not be worrying about. Now, we don't like that what they're saying, and we know there's cause and effect. If we allow them to keep doing that, it's going to get worse. It's going to get even worse. Okay, they're going to take some action on more than just words. But the bottom line is this. And look, I called the other day to say, oh, this is woman, very condescending, narcissistic, talking about, oh, yeah, we know your broken record. The broken record is until we together start getting together and doing what they're doing, what they did to create the 2025 project, a bunch of people with brains got together and made up a strategy that they're going to apply and implement. Until we start doing that, we're going to have to fix this collectively. None of us individually are going to fix this. No small clique group of us are going to fix this. They got 78 million people or more that voted for this lunatic in office. And even more of them not calling racism white supremacy. And I'm talking about black and white. for what this is. This is really Reconstruction 2.0. We got a black president. All hell breaks loose after this. Until we start acting like we got a brain that can think beyond just base level stuff, we're gonna keep getting the same cause and effect.
All right.
And if we can, so the bottom line is this: my broken record is black folks. This thing is not going to get changed by the ones who comfortable, black or white. It never did.
No.
It took a lot of people from the bottom to make these changes that we made right now. Until y'all start coming together and realize we got power and start using. But the bottom line is we need educated people to show us how to implement processes to accomplish these goals.
Okay.
And these people are comfortable, just like white folks comfortable. They comfortable. The black folks comfortable too.
Got it.
And until we start calling all these people out and say where you at, put your brain power to make all. And we can't go with one idea. Everybody has ideas, and we got to eat this. All of us got to take a bite of this elephant from our approaches.
All right. Okay, Kev. Thanks, man. Let me take these other calls to kind of get everybody in. Appreciate it. All right. Piper.
Hey, what's up, G?
What's going on?
And I'm listening to you. The one thing I have to say is we have to, like you talking about it, we all have to talk about it. When you think about right next door, Mississippi, celebrating Confederate Heritage Month.
Right.
So, and then at the same time, you whitewashing, our history in these books too. Slaves were unpaid migrant workers and this type of foolishness.
Right.
But the Confederacy was okay. So they're pretty much telling their kids, hey, look, this is a proud heritage. These are the things we do. But then you don't want to tell our kids that this is that foolishness was not some glory days for us, So we have to, like I say, we have to grassroots this thing. We have to get smarter about it because from where I see, it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to, because they're more emboldened. You have an administration that says, hey, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Think about this. The Holocaust was in Europe, but here in the United States, you say anything, oh, you're anti-Semitic, but this racism, the slavery was here, but it's okay. You can still celebrate it. In some states, it's okay. You celebrate that history of enslaving people,
mm-hmm.
of torturing people. So, and then you're bringing it more and more. And like, think about, we're in Louisiana right now. If Jeff Landry wanted to put that on a bill and say, okay, hey, do we want this as a state holiday? What do you think it would be?
No, I don't think that some of us understand, and this is the reason why I said and brought this up as a topic, because instead of it being a news story that deserved a 2-minute package on the news, I think it's something that all of us should be talking about. The fact that happened on our doorsteps, not in our back door, not across the state line. That was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And some folks will be like, man, you just
and that's
need to
what
let that.
We have to have these discussions.
Right.
That
And some people will say
this stuff is going on.
And some people will say that, man, just let that go. You shouldn't do nothing about that or say anything about that. That was just ignorance, da-da-da-da. But I really feel that as a smart individual, as a group of smart individuals, that we have to address it so that these folks that are doing this will know you can't come on my back doorstep and do that no more.
And because here's the thing, G. If we don't address it, guess what? They're addressing it. Because
they're going to do it again.
We were down there and we did this. Now the next time, instead of 3 or 4, it's 10 and 12.
Right.
In different parts of the city. Because like you started off with, it can happen on your block.
Yep. All right, Piper, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you much. Talk to you in a minute. Cedric.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Hey, look. It's, wow, this ain't funny, but where's our loudmouth president of the city council on this issue? Where is any city leader on this issue? This is why it's important for us not to lose the mayor's office in this mayoral election that's vastly approaching.
Mm-hmm.
Also, where is the city leadership in reference to Mr. Darius Clem, who's missing, and he works on the docks. We're not hearing about it. It's circulating on social media, but things that we need our leaders to be gun-ho about, they're not. So, Mr. J.P. Morrell, since you're so big on talking about everything, and that's cool, where are you on this issue? Are you talking about it on that predominantly white news station? Because seemingly you forgot that there is Black Talk Radio, WBOK. Our leaders are silent. You know what? Lastly, Gerard, I want to ask you, where are these pastors that's against the renewing of this millage for the sheriff's department? Where are they on this issue? Where the civil rights organizations? This is serious. Who's telling black people, our black elderly people, be on the lookout? We have white supremacists in our city. Where is the public service announcement? Well, I'll tell you where it is. It's on WBOK, 12:30 a.m.
Yes,
George, we need you with the announcement. Have a good one.
Man, don't start him up.
Man.
All right, Cedric, thank you, brother. Talk to you in a minute. All right, so before I go to a break here, why do I think that this was important to talk about? Because somebody who had ill will, ill intent, don't give a damn about us, was in our city, and it was several of them. They were together, trying to wreak havoc. And there was a fight that happened as well. Now, we have killings here, we have fights here, we have all of that here. I don't need to add no more, do I? Do we need to add some more racist bigotry? Do we need to add that to our list of stupidity that happens here in this city that you feel good about? That you'll just get on the bullhorn and just start hollering white power. Come on, y'all. It need to be addressed. Not sat back and said nothing about it. Need to be addressed. Your best bet that you didn't have a whole group of us to show up and whip your butt. That's what you better be glad you didn't get. All right, we got to take a break here. We'll take the break. We'll come back and have some more conversation with you in just a few minutes, because I think that this is something that all of us need to talk about, not just on any other station. I'm talking about how black folks feel. How do you feel when stuff like this happens? This ain't going to be the only time. How do you feel? Do you think that we need to show up and make sure that all this stuff doesn't happen? People have the right to say whatever they want to. They do. Freedom of speech. I know the amendments. But I do want to say one thing. You got to watch how you put yourself in harm's way, too. Because it's apparent to me that these boys was putting themselves in harm's way and maybe not even realize it, thinking that they all biggity. You just got your butt beat fighting, and you want to get up and holler white power? Yeah, you just have no idea where you were. You was close to Jesus, or at least seeing him that night. You was close to Jesus. I ain't even gonna go there. I had more to say about that. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, y'all. More coming up. 504-582-9422 is my number. News is next.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Misty Jordan with 4 things you should know from BIN News. During a speech in Michigan, President Trump said his first 100 days in office have been the most successful of any administration ever. Former Vice President Kamala Harris will give her first major speech since losing her White House bid. Harris is expected to criticize President Trump's economic policies. A Chicago City Council committee is considering a proposed curfew designed to address teen takeovers in the city. It would give police authority to call a curfew when a mass teen gathering takes place. Black Mayor Brandon Johnson has reservations about the plan. The NFL fined the Atlanta Falcons and one of their coaches over a prank call made to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. The team is being fined $250,000. The coach will be fined $100,000. And award-winning rapper Travis Scott is 34 years old today. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Let me see. Somebody had to tell y'all. I forgot what it was. We went to a couple of places over the weekend. Got to say hey to my family down there off of Bayou Road. Got a chance to say hello to the Cupcake Fairies. If y'all haven't been over there, make sure that you stop by and say Gerard was talking about you. They'll know what I'm saying. I was listening to Gerard on the air. He told me to go over here to the Cupcake Fairies. Them ladies like my sisters, boy. And mama, I call her mama. And she answers every single time. So, go by the Cupcake Fairies on Bayou Road and say hello and get you something from them. And then I went over to Community Bookstore. Went over there to say hello. And then the other thing, too, as I was talking, they have an area now over at Community Book Center where you can bring books that you no longer want. You can buy them. You can bring them and put them in it's a little area where you can put these books. And it's a good idea because the books that they're collecting will be then given to inmates, those that are in jail. So they'll have something new to read. So if you are in the marketplace, go on over there and see Miss Vera. Miss Vera tell you what to do. And she will get your books. And she'll make sure that, it's going in the right position, if I could put it that way. Who is it going to go to, and that's important, too, because folks need to be treated like folks. Then, after we left there, we actually wanted to find out. I don't know if y'all saw these or not. They've had these signs all across town that are telling people no new taxes, vote no on the amendment. Now there are signs that are not authorized as well that says not new taxes, vote yes for the millage. Not new taxes. So this doesn't have, well, what do you mean it's illegal? No, not the millage or whether you for it against this. It's the signs that are illegal because they don't have anybody's name on them who's responsible for saying vote no, and they don't have the name of the folks that say vote yes. So I needed to throw that into the conversation piece to let you know that it ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. Just get ready. So that happened over the weekend. And I still maintain, yawning at the same time. That didn't sound good. I still maintain that my position is do what you've been doing. Let that I don't say new tax because it's not a new tax, but let that millage remain in place because it goes toward doing great stuff with it, and every penny has been accounted for. You just don't know it, but every penny has been accounted for, and she's got it. When I say she, I'm talking about the mayor. the sheriff. She's got the whole list of it, and she supplies it to the city council at least 2 and 3 times a year. Every penny. So all of that searching and opposition and all this other stuff that I'm against it, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. All right, over the weekend, there was some craziness that happened. I think that was on Royal Street. I'm trying to pull it up now. Where the racist came out and started screaming, "White power! White power!" Which made a lot of folks look at them, and I knew there was a fight that happened. But after the fight was over with, he's still hollering, "White power! White power!" And I was thinking to myself, as I was watching the story, I said, maybe we'll make this a topic. Then I said, nah, don't make that a topic. Then I came back. Well, yeah, you need to make that a topic. And I left it there. Yeah, you need to make that a topic. Here's why. I would be remiss if I did just let any and everybody come into the city and talk down to me. Because that's what you're doing. You're talking down to me because I got melanated skin. I'm going to let you just come in here and talk down to me? Nah. This don't have nothing to do with your freedom of speech. I got freedom of speech too, but there's certain places I can't say certain things. One of them is on the radio. But you got freedom of speech. Yeah, you got freedom of speech. You can say anything you want to, but you also have to be able to accept the consequences of your actions. Folks ain't trying to understand your freedoms of speech. Folks are offended that you would have the audacity to bring that type of rhetoric to the table. And some of them, whether you think lowly of them or highly of them, will whip your ass. How about that? And don't care that they did or they didn't. You're putting yourself in harm's way. Now, how do you feel about it? I don't feel good about it. And I think it should always be talked about. How would you like everybody? I never forget. This is the honest God truth. When we first started up this radio station, we were using a slogan that was offensive to other folks. Talking back and talking black. Y'all remember that? Talking back and talking black. But in the world of advertising, the majority of those that make the decisions on what radio stations they're going to buy advertising on, whether they have the majority black people or not, they don't care. Talking back and talking black. And I got a call from an executive from a advertising agency that said to me, we were getting ready to buy your radio station with some advertising, but I decided that, nah, that's not what we're going to do. And I was like, why? They said, well, first thing you got to understand, how would you like it if I said that my slogan was talking white and talking right? If you're talking white, you're talking right. She said, how would it make you feel if I said that? I said, probably not that good. Why you asking me that question? She said, because that's how I feel about this radio station. You all are saying that it's not good enough, or basically that if we ain't talking black, we not talking right. I said, well, that ain't how it's meant, but, I can understand your assessment, your analogy. She said, so we can't advertise there, and hung the phone up. Well, at that time, we were like, well. But you never know who she's going to call and tell them the same thing in the business. Because that's what they do, pick up the phone to call their friends, family members, or whoever who may be advertising or in control of the monies. I, on the other hand, thought it was something innovative. And the reason I thought it was innovative was because we never had one before. Talking back and talking black. But that, to a lot of folks, other than black folks, was insensitive. And they also felt that it was one of those slogans that were offensive to them. That's just a segment of my conversation to the piece where that was being said. But when you are automatically knowing that you're offensive to a race of people and you trying to be offensive to a race of people, that's a whole nother different category. You doing it on purpose, and you're going to have to answer for it. So this woman was not happy with my answer. She was not happy with what the radio station was saying, and she pulled all her advertising. Good Lord, that was many years ago. But if, by any chance, there are some folks that are trying to be offensive and not caring about what you say, how you say it, or who you said it to, that's a whole nother fight there. What? Yeah, that's a whole nother fight. I ain't say a whole nother challenge. That's a whole nother fight there. Just because you're offensive, are you offensive because you're trying to be? Or are you offensive because you have to be? There are some things that happen that you have to be offensive. You got to let them know sometime that you are being offensive. But I don't have to sit here and listen to you tell me about my blackness, about my heritage, about my ancestors, about anybody that might be saying we're just trying to get a foot up. We're trying to make sure that folks are going to be all right. Because what I saw this weekend, no, Pablo, can't let that go. Not at all. Now, here's the other question. Let's just say, this is make-believe. This is not for anybody to take seriously. What if, by any chance, you that person that's ready to holler and call somebody a racist because they stood there and said racist comments? Would you allow that to happen, or would you have to whip on that behind? Or at least have somebody to do that? You got to think about that for a minute. Would that be you that's in the fight? Or would you be walking around and saying, I ain't got nothing to say. Oh, no, Gerard, you trying to put us in fights now? Mm-hmm. Because if he's saying it to me, we got to fight. If he's saying it to me, we got to go. You got to knuckle up, bruh. You got to go 10 toes down. And they ain't the only ones that's going to do it. There's going to be some more. Hell, there's probably more now. We just don't know who they are. I thought, now this is what I thought. I thought that they were going to come up and say, let our brother go and all this. And they were going to have their flags out and everything because of this. But they didn't. What does that mean? What does that mean? I got to the point now where I'm looking around and saying to myself, somebody must be looking for ass whipping. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't even use that. You wouldn't use none of that. And I mean, you standing outside in the middle of the street with no shirt on, giving the Heil Hitler, talking about some white power. And prior to that happening, somebody did jump you and beat you. Just to let y'all know, somebody did call them. Somebody did show up. And they were tussling in the ground, right in the middle of the street. Then after that was over with, you decided that you were going to stand up again and holler, white power! White power! And I was thinking to myself, somebody getting ready to jump up and whip him again. Somebody will. Listen, everybody is not born and bred and have the same characteristics as the other person. But I think I would be less of if I allow somebody that I think is already less than of me crying out, white power, in my neighborhood. I think I would be less of a man than just allow that. But as the city understands who these folks are, because what I understand, these folks are not from here, they're from across the lake. But they are across the lake. And if they are, you ain't but a hop and a stone's throw away. You got to come back across at some point in time, put some identity on that person. Put some identity on that person. And you can guarantee that at some point, karma is a you know what. Because they got to come back. All right, we got, everybody hold tight.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. A lot of people are building their personal brands, and for good reason. Recent research from Nielsen finds that over 70% of consumers trust advertising opinions and products from influencers. Stacey Wade, co-founder of Nimbus, a Black-owned marketing agency, says that personal brands offer a kind of authenticity that big companies sometimes aren't able to match.
You're able to pull the credibility from, culturally, the cultural credibility that they bring to the table is worth so much more money now. Because especially now, their audience is expecting them to be more authentic on who they choose to work with.
It comes down to trust. Brands looking to earn the trust of Black consumers might be well served by involving black voices in an authentic way. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to all day long.
NOLA Public Schools is excited for the rest of this 24-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars attend today, achieve tomorrow.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
This is Jackie Jones with Class Act Entertainment. Join us on May 11th at the Honor Thy Mother Theater Brunch in partnership with WBOK at the Jean Lafitte Auditorium. Experience the red carpet with live interviews and photo ops, along with a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas. Highlighting the afternoon is the original stage play, Mama. The finale, live concert with Piano Man G. Get your tickets at 504-491-1179.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. I was actually pulling up the story so that you'll be able to hear it. Not hear it, but have the conversation. Because it's in the Gambit. And it says, Nazis FAFO night. Their night out in New Orleans ends in losing his job. I was saying to myself, that's interesting. The story reads as follows. It says, a night out on the town, one Louisiana Nazi and his collaborator friends has ended in unemployment after a video was posted online of the poorly tattooed fascist and his melanin challenge Waffenbrüder stalling down Decatur, throwing Nazi salutes and yelling white power. Video and photos of the racist gaggle of goons, FAFO excursion to Frenchman Street and the French Quarter started making the rounds on social media early Monday. Several photos show the flock of fascists having what appears to be a lovely time being members of this master race in their finest SS t-shirts. It's unclear why they went to Frenchman, given the diverse and joyful nature of the street, though it is possible they labor under the racist Italian-American conspiracy theory, which holds Italians created jazz. The fun didn't last long, unfortunately, for the Ubermen. Videos show them scurrying in a decidedly un-alpha-like manner down Decatur Street, following what appears to be a verbal altercation. The internet, being nothing if not up to everybody's business, quickly got to work after the videos and photos were posted, and sleuths, including journalists Krista Rock and Abdul Aziz, quickly identified them. By late afternoon, one of the Nazis' employers, the Amit, Louisiana-based Stink Eye Tattoo, was scrambling to control the damage. In a statement on their Facebook page, Stink Eye said that it had fired its Nazi employee and claimed that 2 other employees in the video were not really Nazis. The videos that were expressed are not the views that were shared at Stink Eye Tattoo. Mitch and Logan, associated in the video, were there to get our ex-coworker out of the situation and escort him back to his vehicle, preventing him from being attacked by people instead of leaving him behind. Christian is no longer employed at our shop, the statement says. It's unclear from the videos what the 2 other employees did to calm the situation down. However, the shop did not respond to requests for Gambit's interview, whether it provides Nazi, Confederate, or otherwise fascist them tattoos. It's common for reputable tattoo shops to not make Nazi tattoos. Through the New Orleans area has little tolerance for open displays of Nazi beliefs. There is, of course, a long history of racism and anti-Semitism in the city. For instance, in 2022, the Black Butterfly Tattoo Shop in the tattoo shop was found to be selling a variety of adult behavior caps. But I do think, now this is me, I'm not reading this anymore. I do think that some of these things are put together for different reasons. If you see the photos, you would see, boy, these dudes are really tatted up. And they really are tatted up. Is this why they call them Nazis? Because they were tattooed from head to toe? Or is this because of what was said? Because if so, whether you screaming white power or not, that just lets me know that you just didn't start it. You've been screaming white power. That's why you got in the fight. Today's society of kids, and y'all gonna have to agree and put this up with me now. I'm open up telephone lines on this one, 504-582-9422. Today's kids, today's young person, this ain't your grandpappy. They don't have no sense of working it out or trying to see if you are right. You offend some of these kids today, you might as well go find your gat. Because some of these kids today, yeah, they quick on it too. And it don't be because I need to show some restraint. My restraint is contemplation. My contemplation is to say, what's going to be my next move? Am I going to tolerate this and ignore it and go on about my business? Or am I getting ready to open up that can of whoop ass? People will tell you all the time, it ain't worth it. Don't put yourself in a position, it ain't worth it. But who teaches the lesson? What's the lesson that's taught? What's the lesson that's taught? You can believe whatever you want to do. Nah. I need you to understand the consequences that come with them tattoos and consequences that come with you opening your mouth. You might believe that somebody is just going to stand there and take it. You might want to believe that somebody's just going to stand there and take it. But these kids today, shoot, nah, they don't want to put that together. Your consequences and my consequences might be a whole lot different. But there might be a movement that happens too. What kind of movement? For you, might be a bowel movement. I'm just saying. So that was what I had to really talk to y'all about today. That should not go untouched and not unsaid. And I do think that the city in itself, knowing who this was, and now having photos of those folks, video of those folks, needs to be addressed. Because hell, they're addressing us every day. You can't say nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't go to college and say nothing. Even though that you ain't trying to holler out white power. They saying something. They are. Now I know I'm going to crank up this part of the show, but I told him that I was going to. Because I was at lunch meeting with some of my folks, and we were having political conversations. And the political conversation has come back. And I don't know if it's rumor mill or what. But I told him that I was going to ask, and if anybody know, I'm expecting them to call me and tell me. They got some pretty good candidates that are saying that they're going to step up and they're going to run for this and they're going to run for that, da-da-da, da-da-da. And some political folks that have been in the game for a minute that have let me know that they're going to run for the position of whether it's at large or whether it's city council or whether it's the mayor's race or the sheriff's race or whatever race. There's plenty of them that are that are telling me now that they're going to run. But there are those that you hearing that they're going to run. And they're not saying nothing. So I made it a point to stop by this man's table and ask him, hey, there's rumor that you're going to run for mayor. And he went, oh, Gerard. Ha, 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 ha. As I did it too. Ha, ha, ha. I was like, I know you're not going to run for that office. And, you know, I almost sit beside you almost every day. And you ain't saying nothing. And he said, oh, Gerard. Ha, 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 ha. I said, I just need you to know that I'm going to put it out there that you're going to run, thinking that he'll say, Oh, no, don't tell nobody that. And he didn't. So I need y'all to find out tonight. Because the person I'm talking about is Arnie Felco. Is Arnie Felco getting ready to get into the mayor's race? He gonna be here in 25 minutes. So when he sit down and he says, this is Arnie Felco along with Carrie and yada, 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 y'all call in and ask him, hey, we heard. Y'all ain't got to say Gerard said it. Don't tell him. But ask him. You thinking about running? Is you thinking about running? Is you is or is you ain't? He'll be like, what? Is he? Now, you ready for the next one? Because this is circulate, boy. This is circulating. This circulating, baby. This one right here. This is like the fan that move its head around so to circulate the air all through your house. I'm hearing that there's somebody that's already an elected official but has the ability to come back and apply to run for another position, not the position currently held. I'm being very vague here. But y'all know who I'm talking about. They saying that she, so you know it's a she. She is going to qualify to run against Mr. Red Bottoms. Who is it? Somebody tell me who it is. 504-582-9422. Somebody tell me who it is. They saying that she is going to step up and qualify against Mr. Red Bottoms. I said, what? No. I said, that ain't true. That ain't true. So text it. Yup, that is true. What? I said, what? And would you do it? Got a text back. Sure, I would. I said, uh-oh. What? That's my whole word. That's my whole word. What? Sure, I would. Don't think that my ability to say that I have people that will back me in this has gone away. I said, show you right. And then I use my word again. What? You might think I'm term limited. But I can run for another office. And I said, show you right. And then I said it again. What? Baby, you want to talk about an interesting race. And all I can say right now is if you know, you know. I know everybody going like, well, you going to tell who it is? I can't. All I can say is, what? and show you right. Get ready. Get it ready, get it ready, get it ready, ready. And speaking of that, I got to say congratulations to Jubilee. Jubilee has received his honorary doctorate for one of the universities over him being a champion for the kids, for the young folks, and has been doing so for so many years. Brother, all I can say is congratulations. Well deserved. Well deserved. And get it ready, get it ready, get it ready, ready. Check this out. And I said, are you serious? Riri, what? Everybody repeat after me. What? And then I wanted to be the first one to say, because y'all know I can't stand him. I'm like Kendrick Lamar. Hate you like you're young. I ain't talking about Jubilee, by the way. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about somebody else. And then I said, run. I sound like I was on the Forrest Gump movie. Run, Forrest. Run. One more time, and then I'm going to stop doing it. What? You still want to be in that mess? Mm-hmm. And I know what them other folks is. They singing a Jubilee song. Girl, don't you do that. They trying to anyway. But I think that would be a very good race. But who is it, Gerard? Until I get somebody that will tell me that it's okay to do that and put that out there, I can't tell you what the mayor said. Oops. Oh, Lord. Mm-mm. But should she run? I think so. Some of this back and forth, not getting anything done. Who you stood up for? What have you done in the city? Some of that got to stop. But this is some bull. This is some bull. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. And I guess if anybody would have known that this is what you were going to be when you ran the first time, we would have said a long time ago, no. We would have said no. So it should be a good. It should be a good time, even if she don't. Just the fact that somebody said that she would, I think it's good. I really do. All right, tell you what we'll do. We'll take a break here. We'll take the break. We'll come back. Hey, Ron, hold on. We're coming right back.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. Well, one false report and a firestorm later, Amazon found itself in the crosshairs of the Trump White House over tariffs. The e-commerce giant had to put out a statement denying plans to list import tariffs next to product prices after Punchbowl News reported it would show how much of each item's cost stemmed from Trump's tariffs. That triggered a full-on political tantrum. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called it hostile, accusing Amazon of working with China Chinese propaganda. President Trump reportedly even called Jeff Bezos himself, only to flip from fury to flattery. By afternoon, Trump was singing Bezos' praises. He solved the problem very quickly. He's a good guy, he said. But here's the bigger issue: tariffs. Economists warn Trump's trade wars are fueling inflation. Retailers like Temu and Shein are already raising prices, blaming increased import costs. For these stories and more, go to AURN.com or follow me across social media at Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
As the French Quarter Festival was coming to a close, a 36-year-old man brazenly opened fire in front of New Orleans police officers, wounding 5 people. It is a horrifying reminder of how quickly joy and celebration can turn into chaos and fear. Now, what makes this incident even more disturbing is what it reveals about the law, or the lack of it. Earlier this year, you'll recall, the Louisiana State Legislature passed a law allowing permitless concealed carry. Now, that means anyone over 18 can legally carry a hidden firearm in public. No permit, no background check, no training required. Let that sink in. No authorization, no checking to see whether someone shouldn't have a gun, no training to make sure someone knows how to use a gun. Just a gun in their pocket, waistband, jacket, or on their ankle. Police are expected to manage crowded events, busy city streets, and tense situations without being able to question who's carrying a weapon until it's already too late. Their hands are tied, and we are left vulnerable. Any irresponsible ass with a gun is free to put your life and my life at risk. Now, this isn't about gun rights. It's about basic responsibility. Requiring permits and training isn't an infringement. Duh. It's just common sense. It protects the public, and it protects the officers who put their lives on the line every day. Now, if a man can open fire right in front of law enforcement during a festival, maybe it's time the state legislature admits this law needs a second look. This can't be about politics. This must be about public safety. It's time to give police a chance to protect us before lives are lost. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks
and Kimber White Dupree
from the Front Porch.
Some combos are too good to miss. Now you can pull up a chair to the front porch anytime.
Just search WBOK Media and subscribe to the Front Porch Podcast.
Download, share, and hit us with a 5-star rating because New Orleans culture deserves to be heard loud and clear.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com.
The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Hey, Ron.
What's up, man?
You the man, bro. How you doing?
Say, bro, you gonna stop? Yeah, bro.
I ain't do nothing. You are not gonna
you
put
had me
that
pinned
on
to
me.
my seat, bro.
Huh?
You had me pinned to my seat. You had me pinned. I was like Uncle George. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, man.
But yeah. That sounds like I'm too, sitting on the edge of my bed. Mm-hmm. Man.
But first shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable, People's Political Party, and as well the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. Let me say this about the Nazis in the city, you dig? That behavior is definitely going to be checked. So y'all stay tuned for that deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, for the people who be saying, this has nothing to do with race and things like that, it's always to do with race, which is why Troy Henry is going through what he's going through with this garbage contract. It's not so much of his companies because, certain people in the city doesn't expect for black people to reach or to make more than what they have in mind as a certain threshold when it comes to money, which is why we see non-elected black people that was making so much money over their threshold, as they see, has been fired or came up with ways for them to be fired. So they don't believe that we can make a certain amount of money without without fraud being involved. The next thing, not this past weekend, but the previous weekend, we just got back from Mississippi, and we went to the funeral of 10-year-old Jordan Hill. This little brother was ran over by a white supremacist who felt the need that because he was blowing his horn and the little Jordan didn't move out the way quick enough, he ran the little brother over, kept on going. Ran him over, killed him, kept on going, realized his mirror came off his truck, turned around, got his mirror, and left again. So we went to his house, and of course, he had rebel flags in his yard. Not just one, but a plethora of rebel flags. With those flags comes a certain type of ideology, which is why he did what he did, which is why we seen those white boys felt comfortable with marching in the city like they was doing.
Wow.
Some of these same people, we have been doing surveillance on these people, and some of these people who we seen marching with these Nazis, right, was the same people that was in Charlottesville. We have identified the businesses where they are at, and we will be pulling up on them. But we just want the people to know that we not sitting by and just, standing by allowing these things to happen. Y'all have, people that's actually not afraid of these people.
Right.
Like the organizations who I just mentioned before. But there will be a response to this because it has to. Because too many times people just sit back and just allow these things to happen, which is why these things are happening. You dig?
Yep.
But it's on us. And the more, James Brown said it the best, the only way the man can ride your back is when it's bent. And a lot of us have been bent over for too long. For too long. And like you said a little while ago, G, and there's no disrespect. We are not some of the people that came up before us.
Right. It's a whole different game.
Whole different generations, which is why I say there will be a response to this foolishness that we've seen over this past weekend. You can believe that. You can believe that. And G, you bro, you as crazy as bro, for real.
No, bro. I never tell it. No, but I'm looking around and saying to myself, boy, that would be an interesting little race there.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. But politics, is going to do exactly what politics is meant to do. Some of the same people that was you look at what just happened with the NFL situation, right? Some of these same people who was talking about Deion Sanders and his sons, right, was the same people who was complaining about LeBron with his son.
Right.
So it's like, what are we doing here? Because one minute we want to be for the right, then we want to turn right back around and then contradict ourselves. But that comes from social conditioning, because Rosa Parks stood up how long ago? And then some of us still get on a bus and go straight to the back. Just to give you an idea about social conditioning. But I'm gonna stop right there. But yeah, like I say, there will be a response to this foolishness that we've seen over this past weekend. You can believe that.
Yes, indeed. Let me know. Keep me up.
That. I got you, my brother.
All right, my brother. Let you know we love you here.
Love y'all too, man.
All right, man. Talk to you in a minute. Miss Pamela? Miss Pamela?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, very well. It's a beautiful day. It's hot, but
but it's nice out there.
It's very beautiful. I was trying to pick up on some things because I came in a little late home and I didn't get to hear everything, but we're talking about are we looking at things, people that should run for mayor? Am I there or what?
Well, that's what you're looking at?
I don't know.
You know what? I got something for you to do. I want you to do this for me in about 10 minutes, if you can.
Okay.
Arnie
Okay.
Filko gonna be here. The word is that he gonna run. He not gonna be here today. He not gonna be. It's just Carrie. I'm sorry. Well, we can ask Carrie too. But the word is that he gonna run for mayor.
Well, I'm already picking. I'm looking at two people.
Who are you looking at?
Susan Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
Can she run?
For mayor?
Yes.
Nah,
Can
she's
she run if she
she's
wants
running
to?
for sheriff again. She's running for sheriff.
Okay. Okay. Well, what about Miss Woodford?
She running for sheriff too.
Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to Arnie and them, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, so you might not want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm gonna let you go.
All right, baby.
All right, my
Talk to
dear.
you later.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up, folks. Get ready to Carrie Arnie show coming up next. We will see you on tomorrow, Thursday, right here on WBOK.
Get in on the conversation.